Well, good afternoon. My name's Richard Skaczynski. I'm the CEO here at Coraggio, and we're at a Sydney Board Day here in what is a very, very sunny day, and it's great to be here in Sydney. We're privileged for the very first time ever at Coraggio across all our locations. We've got one of the red hot speakers here from Macquarie Bank. We've always heard about having Macquarie Bank as one of our speakers, and today we're very privileged in having Martin Lakos. Martin, welcome.
Thanks, Richard. Good to be here.
It's lovely to have Macquarie Bank here. A lot of our members are obviously clients of Macquarie Bank, and we've heard from all the economists, from all the bankers, and all their views. However, they all say that Macquarie gets it right. So we're very excited to hear from Martin today. And what do you think are maybe the one or two top things that you'll be talking about today?
Well, I guess the environment that we currently find ourselves in, particularly what's happened from 2022, where we've had this emergence of inflation and it's so high and it appears that it's been somewhat out of control, and central banks have been behind the curve to approach that problem. They've now obviously had to pedal pretty hard to get back up to speed. So the big question for 2023 is all about what are the peak rates and how long, what's the duration by which we'll have peak rates. And there's a number of moving parts here because the global economy is actually probably a bit more resilient than we had originally thought. So it may well be that we find inflation is stubbornly higher for longer, which unfortunately means that interest rates will be higher for longer as well. Having said that, the rate and pace of interest rate rises is starting to dampen things. So there are some signs that inflation is peaking in the US and in the EU. We've also got another component here, is that China is coming out of zero COVID policy and are stimulating their economy. So that's adding to demand and adding to global growth. So there's a lot of moving parts that businesses have to be thinking about. But overall, we think that ultimately the move by central banks will slowly see a decline in inflation. And the next key cycle is going to be trying to judge when we start seeing central banks cutting rates. But it's a bit of a way off yet. We certainly think it's more likely well into 2024 before we can start sort of thinking about that. So for businesses, that's the environment that we find ourselves in at the moment.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, at every Coraggio Board Day in all our 4 locations, Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast and Brisbane, we have a guest speaker, and today our Sydney members are privileged to have Martin here from Macquarie Bank. And thank you.
Thanks, Richard.